Hey everybody, I'm Dustin and welcome into the Mosh Pit. I wanted to talk a little bit about the PoE learning experience. This video isn't going to teach you a whole lot. I'll give you a few websites that are very helpful. I just wanted to let you know how I did it and how I got familiar with the game enough to where I'm enjoying it. The first time I played it with Harvest League, was very hard to figure out that league, the mechanics around the farming and setting up all the little things, and it was tough. So I came back in during Affliction League and said, you know what, I need to learn this. I want to play this game. I want to enjoy this game. So I did these things, and I thought, you know, let me put together a video for anybody who's thinking about getting into Path of Exile or frustrated with the process of trying to figure it out, and I'll show you how I did it. The first thing to know is PoE is daunting. There's a lot. Don't feel like you need to know everything to enjoy the game. To play the campaign, you barely need to know anything other than where to put the points so that you don't screw up your build and do no damage by the end of the campaign. So don't worry about learning everything. Just a little bit at a time. And have fun. This week, recently, Subtractum, a really great content creator that I will be talking about, said that comparison is the thief of fun. So if you're looking at other people and what they're doing, and you see these blasters coming in just blah, 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 and they're killing all these massive bosses, and they're, look at how great this build is, don't try to compare where you're at to where they're at, because they've been playing the game for thousands of hours and they do it for a living. So just have fun. Now, first thing somebody will tell you that you talk to that says, hey, I want to get into Path of Exile, they're going to say, you need to start with a guide. Don't worry about that. You need to learn to go through it once at least with a guide, because there are ways to break your build to where it won't work. But the problem is that I found with guides, for me, people that are there are designing these guides. A lot of times you look for something that says, oh, this is a league starter, meaning this is the one you start the league with. It's easy to get through. It gets you to a certain place so that you can create a new build. And those videos are usually designed for people that are already playing the game. And so they're discussing gyms and synergies and how do you progress, and they're going very fast. The people usually talk really fast as well, because there's a lot to get through. They even in a half an hour, they've covered a ton of stuff. And for somebody who's brand new, those guides and those videos about their guides are pretty confusing. A lot of times, all they give you is a path of building link, which is another thing that we'll get into later. And that link will have all the different things in it that you need to know for the build. But if you're new, it was really hard for me to like open up path building and not go, what the hell? What is this? I thought the game was confusing. So, and the fact that they talk so fast, I found that the best thing with that is to just watch it multiple times. Go back after you've started playing the build, watch it again. If they have update videos, watch those, and then watch those again. So it's a lot of video watching. And with that, I would say if you're going to, if you're gonna follow my and everyone else's advice and do a guide, start with max roll. We'll pull that up here. Max roll's guides are a little bit more user friendly and noob friendly, I would say. There's a lot of info in these guides, and max roll has it for a bunch of different games, but the path of building can be a little bit confusing because of it's a little bit more you're already there and you already know. This one, I feel like max roll is more of a I need to know and I don't know anything. Let's take this one here for explosive arrow ballista as an example. So right off the bat, there's a whole bunch of information on the first page about getting help, and that's what I really like about these guides for a new player. Now I've played, I think, through 3 or 4 different build types. I'm making my own build, but when I first started, coming in here and being able to look at this build rating and say, okay, this looks like one for me because the difficulty's low, the defenses are high, the budget is very low if you're playing in a trade league, and the bossing is great. So this one looks like, wow, this is really just going to be an all-around great thing. And you will find when you look around YouTube, you can't stumble across Path of Exile without stumbling across Ziz. And so this build has so much info in it, giving you all the different reasons what everything's doing, what the scaling is like in the leveling process. Like level 1, it tells you where you're going to get your skills here, and it also tells you information about those skills. So as you're leveling up, you can click through here and it'll tell you, oh, okay, at this point you should have enough gear to have these skills. And scroll down here, it'll tell you where are you getting those skills, because you might go, oh, well, I need to get that. Build guide says to get that. Where do I get that? It's from Nessa. Oh, okay, cool. And then along here on the side, there's tricks and tips. You can see the actual full tree here and which ones you should be taking if you're leveling up, because maybe you're not doing the quest, but you're grinding because you're learning the game. It tells you where you should be headed soon. All this stuff is just really good for a new player. I found that max roll is the greatest place to start, for me at least. And the next thing that will really help as far as when you're following this guide is watch a lot of videos of people that are playing this build type. Just look up Explosive Arrow Champion, or just look up Explosive Arrow. That's your main skill. Go look up Explosive Arrow and see what people are doing with it. Understand it, you know. It helps quite a bit. And as you're playing the game, that content creator might be putting out new update videos about the build. Keep checking back and see. And Zizrin has put out, I think, an update on the Explosive Arrow Champion. So you can go back and take a look at that. It's really more, I found, like if they have a max roll guide, that's great. Not everybody does. Some of them don't have max roll guides. And you might find a build that you're like, I want to play that though, and they don't have it in max roll. It's like, okay, that's fine. But just make sure that the content creator that you're following, their guide and their path towards success, is something that you click with. Because, you know, for me, and this is no shade on Ziz here, but his videos, when I watch the explanations of things in his build, it all kind of gets muddied when I was first starting, because I didn't understand a lot of the things he was talking about and the different leagues and the different, oh, you got to harvest craft this, and then this would be an easy way to do it. It's like, what's a harvest craft? what's a delve craft? What's a beast craft? Oh crap, there's all this crafting. I don't understand all that. And he would go pretty quick through that stuff. Like I said, these videos are a lot of times designed for people that already know the game at least a little bit. So just find a content creator that you watch and you feel like this person is giving me the information that is helping me, and I understand what he's saying, or she. I follow both kind of the content creators out there that it's not just all men playing Path of Exile. So the next thing that helped me learn is to figure out the tools. So there's a lot of different tools out there. I'm not going to cover every single tool. I'm sure there's some other ones out there. There's a new one now for this league that helps with building body crafting when you're doing the dungeon craft, or the dungeon, when you're doing the necropolis crafting with all the bodies. Let the bodies hit the floor. So there's a bunch of different tools that you can use to help you with the game and to help you learn the game, and I'll show you what those are. First one we already covered was max roll. Great for getting guides. Filter blade is the next one that you should know about. You don't necessarily need to know and learn filter blade any more than just using the default at first. Eventually you should watch some videos on how to use filter blade. It is a massively powerful tool, but it can be a little bit confusing. The UI on it is a little bit confusing to me, even after creating my own filters, and it's a great tool. So watch some videos on that. That will give you a loot filter. Loot filter is something you learn about quite quickly. Is a must if you're playing the game. You need a loot filter. I'm not going to go over how to create one, but just know filterblade.xyz is the website. Next is Craft of Exile. This is also another daunting and confusing website to me. But I'm starting to get the hang of it after 2 leagues now. With this, you can come in and create a test item before you go and waste all your currency. So you come into here and you can look for a base item. You can say, I want to make a body armor. I'm doing a full strength build, so I want body armor that's full of strength. And then it gives you a bunch of information about body armors and what they can get on them. Now, this website looks really confusing, and it is, and it's not 100% necessary until you really get into the game more. So I didn't really get into Craft of Exile until probably this league. I've been in here quite a bit trying to figure some things out. Last league, I had enough trouble just figuring out how the game worked. So I did not get into Craft of Exile, but eventually we're going to want to get in here because it's a lot of good information. One really great thing is this simulator. You can come in here and you can say, you can import an item from your game by just Alt-Control-C, like a Control-C click. I found that this simulator helps me out quite a bit. The calculator is also pretty good. There's a bunch of stuff in here. I would say watch some videos on Craft of Exile once you get to the end game. I wouldn't worry about it too much during the campaign. Path of Building, which I've talked about previously, that one is free software. You can come here to pathofbuilding.community, download it, and it's a small little piece of software that runs on your computer. That one here, you can import other people's build. Once you get a build in here, then you can customize it and see what the damage is going to be, what your health is going to be, what your armor is going to be, that kind of thing. This is the one that I'm building for this season. And you can see all your skills that you've imported, what those do, what your level gems are. Just mess around with your build, right? You can find items that you're looking for to see how is this item going to affect my build? Is it going to make my DPS go up or down? It's a huge and powerful tool. It is also pretty confusing. So watch a lot of videos on Path of Building and how to do it. And I would say take it slow. Don't worry about knowing everything in Path of Building because it's a pretty large and complicated program, even though it's small. Next one that I found this league that I was watching somebody build out their Atlas tree was poeplanner.com. This one you can plan out multiple different things. So there's the planner for just your tree. If you're wanting to plan it out here, you don't want to download Path of Building. You can come here and build out your tree. You can also build out all kinds of different stats and things. So it's kind of like Path of Building on the web. So if you're at work and you're bored and you don't have Path of Building because it's installed on your home computer, you can come here to PoE Planner and mess around. Just see what's this going to do. I found it helpful for me because I wanted to build out an Atlas tree, and you can save these. So like once you build it all out, you can save it. And as long as you come in and you logged in, you go to My Builds, you can load up your builds. This is what my plan was for early access into the tree for my Atlas. I did something similar to this, but really this was just helping me figure out like where do I want to go, what do I want to put for my first attempt into maps. This might be something that you don't need to even worry about right away, but eventually you're going to want to learn the Atlas, and you can come in here and just mess around without any consequence. You're not going to have to use a bunch of regrets to get your Atlas back and fix it. If you mess it up, you can come in here and mess around with it. And you can also find a lot of people talking about their Atlas tree strategy on their build videos. So yeah, if you want to learn more about the Atlas, again, watch some videos. And lastly, probably something I should have covered first, Path of Exile Wiki. PoEwiki.net is the place you want to go. If you do searches and you find another wiki, don't worry about that one. This is the wiki. This is the one that everybody uses, and it is the one that's the most current. You'll find all kinds of updates for the current league that you're playing, and you don't have to find a bunch of old, outdated information, because this game, every league gets updated, and then skills don't do things that they did the last league. So you just got to be on the wiki checking things out when you're wanting to know something. What I did to learn things is I didn't just hop into the wiki and start searching things because, like, what am I going to search? None of that stuff makes any sense to me yet. I haven't played the game. I go out and I play the game, and I'll come across something. I'll go, what the hell's this? Who's this person? What is this supposed to do? And come in here and look it up. A good example for me is when I was playing the campaign. It's like, I don't know, I think it was Act 7 or 6. Anyway, I found Alva. She's just standing there. And she's got exclamation above her head. She talks and says a bunch of stuff. And you're like, huh? What? And then after you're done talking with her, a little pedestal pops up right next to her. And it has a little glowy thing. And you click it, and all of a sudden, you get zipped into another world. And you're in this temple, and there's a bunch of dudes to fight. And it was like, what the hell? And then it zips you right out. And you're like, what the hell was that? And as a new player, I don't know what Alva's deal is. So hop over to PoE Wiki. I look up Alva. Alva Master Explorer. Okay. Real name, Alva Valai, I think is how you say that. Master of the Vol Heritage. Oh, so those Vol orbs I keep finding. Okay. Vol areas too that I go in. Maybe that was a Vol area I went into. I don't know. She gives a player access to incursions. Oh, okay. Incursions, followed by the Temple of Atzawatzal. I think that's how you say Atzawatzal? That's something like that. Anyway. So this is exactly what I'm saying. You come across something in a game because you're playing it. Go play and have fun. You play it, you come across something, you don't know what the hell that is. You're like, incursions. And then if you're like, well, what's an incursion? You click on incursion, it takes you to incursions. And it'll tell you what this is and how to do it. And you're like, well, I really enjoyed that. What? You go through this guide and look at all this. You're like, oh my God, what the hell is all this stuff? Go look up incursion and Alva on YouTube. And there'll be people that explain how to do this, what the strategy is, why you even want to do this. There was actually a good video I found from Subtractum on how that. Speaking of learning, if you're really wanting to dig into deep, Subtractum has a bunch of great videos. His crafting videos are some of the most helpful. I've had to watch them multiple times because there's a lot to it and I forget. And so I get in there. And also his videos, when it comes to learning separate areas, he's got a whole video on this and also on betrayal. There's a whole strategy to betrayal. It's a little bit different this league, but it's still somewhat the same. So yeah, just go watch a lot of Subtractum videos, I'd say. Also, for the most case, you can ignore a lot of the league mechanics until you get through the campaign and get to the end game. This league in particular, you can't really ignore the league mechanics because they're ever present and unskippable. But for the most part, the league mechanics are something that you can just skip right past if you don't want. You just want to try to get through the campaign. You're following the quest markers. You're doing that kind of thing. But if you find yourself going, well, no, I don't want to skip it. I want to learn it. Go watch some videos. Look up either the person who's standing there telling you should do it. I was very confused on how to do a delve quest once with my bone shatter jug. I went and looked it up and I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to do that until I get down to like level 70 of delve, and I'm not anywhere near that. I'm just still in the campaign, so I should skip this. And for me, I've found that just playing with the game and testing things out, if you're following a build guide, there's not a whole lot of testing you have to do. But eventually you're going to want to get to a place where you're like, but I found this thing. It sounds really interesting. The skill sounds really interesting, right? Like this league, I play on SSF, which means it's solo self-found, which is I play by myself. Everything I get, I find myself. I don't buy anything from anybody. I don't have access to the store, that kind of thing. Well, not the store, but anyway, that's a whole nother story. I'm not going to even go into trade and how to learn trade. You can watch videos on trade if you're playing trade. The trade stuff is this whole other beast. But I found, in particular from learning, I found this here, Holy Flame Totem of Ire. And I was like, what the heck is that? And that is, I think it's Transfigured Gem. It's one of the new ones that was added last League, I believe. And it sounded really interesting. So I said, okay, well, I did like playing with totems. As Bone Shatter, you have to play with a little bit of totems. And when you throw it out, it creates consecrated ground around it, and it shoots out stuff at enemies. And the consecrated ground is giving me a little bit of a consecrated ground buff while it's up and active. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But I wouldn't have known that if I was just following the guide and just using only those skill gems. And there are so many skill gems in this game. These are all different abilities and powers in the game here. All of these gems. And there's some that aren't in here that you have to go find in a special way. So it's really just about playing the game and trying it out. I will say that crafting, I have definitely bricked some items and made trash. But that's, helped me learn that I should have bought it up to level 20 quality before I start crafting and not forget that step, or maybe I shouldn't have wasted all of my Scrub-a-dub-dub orbs, these things here, the orbs of scouring. Those orbs are very limited, and if you're using those to scrub your map and then re-roll your map over and over again, then you run out of them, and you're like, oh crap, that's really limited. I don't find those very often. That kind of thing. It's all from just learning while you're playing and making mistakes. And you can always start over and run the campaign again with a new build. If you don't like your build, you're halfway through the campaign, or maybe you got to the end and you're like, man, I followed this guide, but this build feels like ass, or I just hate having to click so many buttons. Go find a new guide. All that just helps you learn. And really, at the end of the day, we're just playing a game to have fun. Some of us, like me, have very limited time to play a game, so we want to play a game that has fun and it doesn't piss us off too much. I've definitely had some frustrations with this game, but I do enjoy it quite a bit. So hopefully my experience has helped you if you're thinking about getting into Path of Exile. I really hope so. Again, just have fun, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.